Hello. So usually when I make film reviews, it's about films that I've just seen. And last night I actually saw the film Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I'm not going to make a film review about that, not because it wasn't a good film. I thought it was a very good film. I really enjoyed it. Superb special effects, and I just like that whole fantasy thing, and I like that aspect of Harry Potter in a New York scene and all the rest of it. The reason I'm not making a film review about that is because I haven't read the book. And I feel if I'm talking about a film related to the Potter universe or anything written by J.K. Rowling, I'd need to sort of know something about the script, and I haven't read that. But needless to say, it was a great film, superb special effects, just very enjoyable from start to finish. No, rather, the film I want to review is this Water for Elephants. This is not a new film. This was released in 2011, so it's now 6 years old. Um, it's a film that I'm watching actually right now. I've just paused the screen. I saw this in the cinema and I thought it was very good. Reviewers gave it mixed reviews, and I think that's a little bit unfortunate. It had a budget, I believe, of 38 million, and it's got revenue of 117 million, so it did make profit. But it had very mixed reviews. Now, I think that's a little bit unfair because I think this film had a lot going for it. So basically, for the synopsis first, the film, I'll start with the basics. The film was directed by Francis Lawrence, and it is based on a book of the same name by Sarah Gruen. And it stars Robert Pattinson in the lead role, and Christoph Waltz and Reese Witherspoon in the main supporting roles. So basically, it's about a young Polish American man during the Great Depression whose parents die in a road accident whilst he's studying at Cornell University to be a veterinarian. Well, he basically has no choice but to go into the wilderness, and he ends up on a train. And initially, he's going to be thrown off as a stowaway, but this is a special train. It's actually part of a circus convoy. I should say the beginning of the film starts with a flashback. It starts with an old man in the rain on a circus site, and the sort of contemporary day circus assistants try to call a care home. But he ends up telling a story to one of them. That is, of course, the main protagonist, Jacob Jankowski, as an old man. And he reveals that he had been involved in the biggest circus disaster, third biggest circus disaster in American history after the Hartford Circus Fire of 1944 and another incident, the name of which I forget, in 1918. Um, this incident, I believe, is fictional, but basically, this is a story. It's a love story. It's a drama. Um, I think the cast is one of the strengths of the film, and I think the strongest cast member, in my opinion, is Christoph Waltz, who's actually the main antagonist. He's the circus manager, and this circus is a big rival to the Ringling Brothers. But basically, like I said, it's set during the Great Depression, so you really get that atmosphere of economic hardship, i.e., the circus workers are really have to put their toil into getting by. Now, Christoph Waltz plays the circus manager, and at first he's quite hostile to this young man. He sees him as a stowaway, he sees him as an upstart college kid, and so on. But gradually he sort of warms to him and thinks he could be useful. Now, Christoph Waltz is superb at this role. Um, he is the villain of villains, and I guess that's why he was there to cast in Spectre. Um, what is so good about his role is that he really gives you the tense atmosphere of someone who you know has the capacity to explode at any minute. So basically, he is a complete bastard. And yet, it's not a case of being a caricature villain because he's not a bastard throughout. There's some scenes where he's quite, if not decent, sort of amicable. So, for example, he gives Jacob a suit. He invites him to dinner. He kind of coaches him along the way, but underneath that is a man with a volcanic temper and a real brute and a bully. who abuses the animals in the circus. Well, basically, Jacob falls in love with August, that's the main antagonist's name, with his wife, who happens to be one of the main performers, initially on a horse, but then when the horse is killed by Jacob because it has a hoof that cannot be healed. Sorry, I'm messing up the synopsis a little bit, but basically, to cut a long story short, it's a tale of forbidden love. He falls in love with August's wife, and together they kind of look after this elephant that August has purchased. Now, August has a very different approach. For him, it's just about profit. And I would say for animal lovers, this would be a difficult film to watch because there are scenes of some quite graphic animal cruelty. And basically, Jacob and his love interest, whose name is doesn't say on the back. I really should prepare more for these film reviews. But anyway, they realise that August is basically a man with iron will, and he has the power of God in this circus. But for me, I can't overstate the role that Christoph Waltz plays, because he really, really brings tension to the screen. You really get the impression this is a man who could explode at any minute, and when he speaks calmly, that's even more sinister than when he's angry, because you know that he could explode at any minute. So for me, Christoph Waltz really brings performance. But basically, if I was to sum up this film, I would say it's like Titanic in a circus, because it's about forbidden love, and it's set in a dramatic background of disaster. And I just think it's a very good drama film. I don't think it's slow moving. I think every scene is captivating. I think some of the cinematography is great. So I think, unfortunately, the critics were a bit hard on it, and I'm not really sure why. Other people might disagree. I mean, I'm not saying it's on par with Titanic, but I think it is a good film. And it is certainly a different type of film. I mean, it's not every day you see a film set around a circus theme, and why not? It's a very good subject matter. Um, so yeah, that's Water for Elephants. There was some controversies around the film. For instance, some animal rights groups alleged that the elephant Tai, which is a well-known acting elephant that's been used in other films, was abused in real life. Now, the filmmakers said that all the scenes of cruelty with August beating the elephant were were done by audio. So the sounds of the elephant groaning were audio, and it was all CGI effects. Well, either you take the word for it or you don't. It's hard to know. It would be somewhat ironic if a film depicting animal cruelty actually used animal cruelty in order to make a point. That would be somewhat ironic. But that aside, I think it's a very good film, and yeah, I don't really know why the critics were quite harsh with it, because it's not slow moving. It's a great cast. Um, I don't think Robert Pattinson's the world's best actor. I'll be honest about that, and I mean this with all due respect. But sometimes Pattinson tends to not enunciate enough. Something I've noticed with his acting. So for me, the best acting in this is from Christoph Waltz. But there is a good supporting cast as well. It's just all round, in my opinion, the captivating film. So that's my review of Water for Elephants. Check it out.